Owen, good to see you, man.
Great to see you. How you doing?
Wonderfully. I got to tell you first off that it was weird because on the weekend I had a message from a buddy of mine. I'm from London, Ontario, and he says,
Okay, right
says
on.
Owen Riegling's coming to town. I said, yeah. He says my son is drumming for him, Mark. So it's yes.
Yeah,
So that really made me feel old. That a son of a guy
that's
that I know.
Mark Schroer, drum for me in London. Does that sound familiar, or is it Mark Swan? Because
Mark
I have
Swan.
two.
Mark
Mark
Swan.
Swan is my main. Okay, Mark Swan is my main drummer, and then Mark Schroer had to sub in because the only gig we've had in London, which is Mark Swan's hometown,
Yep.
he couldn't make it for that one, which is hilarious. But that's awesome. Mark's such a great guy, man. He's such a good drummer, and he's a lot of fun to have in the band.
Very cool. Tell you what, and I got to make sure we can be friends here. Let me just take a drink of water.
Leafs, let's go. I'm
Okay,
with
brother.
you. I'm
We
with
got.
you. Let's
See,
go.
even up on my microphone here, I got my little leaf guy up there. Anyways, that's all beside the
Amazing.
point. All right, we'll get rolling for real. Owen Riegling, good to see you, man. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This is awesome.
Now I see, is it microphone cords hanging up behind you there, patch cords?
Yeah, that's kind of like my little storage spot for my mic cables and some little quarter inch, I just other than that, if it's on the ground, my dog's chewing it up and stuff, so kind of keeping it at reach.
I wanted to ask about your dog later, but let's get to it now. New dog named Chevy, and
Yes,
is that a
yeah.
Cocker
He's
Spaniel?
cockapoo. So he's a mix between a cocker spaniel and a poodle.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a fluffy little guy.
And how old is he now?
10 weeks. Pretty young.
Wow, is this your first dog?
First dog, yeah. I had a dog, like a farm dog growing up, but this is my first time having a dog that lives kind of inside. Like our dog growing up was a full-on farm dog. Like he kind of just lived in the garage and he would roam around and like bring a groundhog to the front step and just leave it there for us. Or he would bury it in my mom's flower bed and then she would find it a couple weeks later and then he would put it on the front step. And that's just the kind of dog I've been used to. So it's kind of fun to have a dog that's like a child and like sleeps in the bed and all that stuff.
What's been the biggest surprise of having the dog?
um, the amount that it bites everything, like I think I didn't expect it to be that much. I knew that people said that they do that, but that as a puppy, I guess, and then the fact that he doesn't sleep, I think, is the second thing.
Don't be afraid to take it to puppy training. Well,
Yeah,
well
I
worth the
know.
effort. Are you bringing the puppy on the road with you?
I'm not bringing the puppy on the road with me. We actually kind of are leaving it to puppy training when we're gone because we're gonna give it to my girlfriend's dad, who has a dog and it's so well trained. So we're hoping if we give him the dog, we get back a week or two later, and he's gonna be fully trained. That's the hope. We'll
Now,
see.
you're just off to, I guess, kind of your roots here. You're from Mildmay, Ontario. That's what,
Hmm.
about 2 hours, 3 hours north of London, my hometown?
Yeah, 2 hours north of London. Um, yeah, pretty much all back roads. Once you go north of London, down Richmond, you can pretty much drive straight out of town, and um, it'll take you to where I live. Just
Now,
drive 2 hours.
is that still home?
Yeah, I live in Walkerton now, which is 10 minutes away from Mildmay. Just because there was an apartment here that
Perfect.
made sense for me. Otherwise, I'd still be in Mildmay. I don't like to admit that I'm not living there still because there's a bit of a rivalry when it comes to like hockey growing up, Mildmay and Walkerton. So I'm kind of like a traitor living here now, but it's where I'm living.
Were you a player in younger years, or maybe still are?
Yeah, no, I don't play anymore. I stopped playing hockey when I went away to college just because I didn't want to make the it was kind of hard to commit to driving all the time. But yeah, I grew up playing hockey from the time I could walk, basically.
Now, you're in Mildmay is like about 30 miles away from nowhere, which a lot of people in Saskatchewan will identify with. What was the best part of growing up kind of being remote?
The best part, there's many things that make it amazing, which I'm sure you're aware of. Living in like a rural community is no traffic is the main thing that I love. Um, so a lot slower pace of life. Like I can just go and I go to my parents' farm all the time. I grew up there, and I mean it's just so peaceful. Go in the back deck and the wheat field, the wind's just blowing. It's kind of just a vibe. It's peaceful. That's my favorite. I get kind of anxious sometimes being in the city for too long. Just the horns and the sirens and I mean, yeah. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, I live about 15, 20 minutes out of Saskatoon, a place called Delmany, and it's about 1,800 people. And again, there's nothing around it, and I can identify with that peacefulness. Of course,
Yes.
going out on tour now, though, I mean, in the midst of cities all across, because that gets going next Friday, right?
Yes. Yep.
On the road to Tyler Hubbard. How, like, okay, this is just me being ignorant of how everything works. When do you guys get together? Have you already met? Do you know kind of what the routines are for the day or whatever?
Yeah, we've met. I opened for him acoustically at the Universal office in Toronto a couple months ago. He came through and did like a showcase there for about 50, 60 people. And that's when he asked me to come on tour with him. So it
Wow.
was super cool. So we met then. And as far as how run a show day goes, I got a tour manager who kind of takes care of that. He tells me where I need to be, when I need to be there. And yeah, it's kind of cool having that now. It's a new thing for me. I'm used to just booking everything on my own and kind of figuring it out as I go, but it's awesome having people who help me out with that.
So he's like, here's your guitar. You go stand there, sing into that thing.
Yeah, basically.
You're talking about booking your own stuff because, I mean, we might consider you to be an overnight sensation because we just hear of Owen Riegling now. But you've been at this like from what age, like 10 or something like this?
I got my first guitar when I was 10 years old, and I started taking lessons then, but I didn't start playing gigs until I was like 16. And by gigs, I mean loading my little PA system to every little kind of bar and playing for 5 people sort of thing. And I did that for a bunch of years, just playing around at bars, playing cover songs, and kind of worked my way up in the bar scene doing that and cutting my teeth, learning how to play, every cover song under the sun. And then, yeah, it's more recently that I've been, getting to play bigger stages and meet cool folks like you and put out original music. So yeah, it's been a cool journey.
When you were doing a lot of covers, what was your favorite one to do?
I am a big Eric Church fan.
Oh.
So I mean, anything Eric Church I loved. But there's tons of different covers. It's hard to like nail down one. I used to do like 40 or 50 songs a night when I play those 4-hour bar gigs. And it's funny because I don't even think I could like do half of them now. I feel like they're just gone. But yeah, anything Eric Church, Springsteen comes to mind.
Yeah, it's gotta.
Yeah.
Sweater song video. Now, actually, let's deal with the song first. Is there anything that you've ever lost in a relationship? Or have you had relationships that have ended? Or, I mean, I don't know how long you've been with your girlfriend. So,
Yeah, we've been together for a long time. It's been like 6.5 years now.
wow.
So crazy, man. Yeah,
Good
the
for you.
time just flies by. Yeah, and I mean, I talk about it in the song, but my sweaters, my t-shirts, everything that I wear seems to go missing. And it's funny how when we're planning to go somewhere, like Liv comes with me to most of my shows. She takes photos and helps us out in that way on the road and stuff. And like I'll be like ready to go, and she'll come around the corner wearing one of my shirts, and I'm like, "What are you doing? That's my shirt." But she just kind of claims my stuff. So yeah.
So real life lives on in the song.
100%. Yeah.
How many shirts and sweaters in the video?
That's actually a good question. I know there's probably 70 hoodies that we had. I had Marina Eagleson, Jade Eagleson's wife, was styling me for that video shoot down in
cool.
Nashville, and she was in charge of getting all the sweaters and hoodies and stuff. So she went to like a bunch of Goodwills and stuff and kind of got a bunch of them for that one scene. And that, I think it was 17 seconds, that one scene of where all the hoodies are kind of going from me to her, me to her, me to her. And it took us like 2 hours to shoot that 17 seconds just because we had to put it on, take it off, go back to the same position, shoot the whole thing, and just keep repeating that process like 70 times.
Because your head is in like exactly the same spot each time. So that would have been tricky.
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky, but it was a cool experience to kind of see how that goes down. We had a reference photo that we took on the first one, and then somebody just said head to the left a little bit and kind of reset us every shot. So.
And who's the young lady in the video?
That's my girlfriend Liv.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, we were gonna have, it came up to have somebody just act in it, but I was like, I wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
Not having Liv. We've been together for so long, so she's kind of a staple. She's in a lot of the music. She's a lot of the songs I write are about her. So I feel like it's a good part of my story to have her in the video. And she gets recognized and stuff now when we're out and about. It's awesome.
So people are going to recognize her. They're going to recognize the dog, and then hopefully you as well.
We'll see, man. It's oftentimes now is just the dog. We've bringing them to some shows, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, your dog's so cute." They love him, and it's so cool. I love it.
Love it. We are looking forward to having you here. Of course, going to be with Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line on Sunday the 15th. Coors Event Center. Great party location. You're going to have an awesome crowd there. So looking forward to having you in town.
I'm so excited to come through. It's going to be my first time in Saskatoon. I cannot wait.
Perfect. Owen Riegling, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.